So tonight, and we're recording this tonight too. Tonight we're going to talk about movement, and this is a primary thing that we teach at Victory. It's a 5 essential that we teach here at Victory. About 1 in 5 adults meet the 2008 physical activity guidelines. Inactive adults have a higher risk for early death, heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, depression, and some cancers, and also getting this COVID stuff. And so I think it's important to not wash over that tonight. I want to talk about the immune system. I'm really bothered by that everybody's telling us how to not get sick, wash our hands, socially distance, wear a mask, but I haven't heard anybody yet talk about breathing. We talked about it a few minutes ago. I haven't heard anybody talk about exercise or about detox or about supplements or nothing. It is bound up in what are we doing to prevent being sick? And I think that more than anything, we need to make sure that we're healthy. 25% of children 5 and up already have plaque forming in their arteries, and then less than 3 in 10 high school students get consistent physical activity throughout the week. Childhood obesity has more than doubled, and adolescent obesity has more than tripled in the past 30 years. The problem with all of it is that there's so many different programs out there. There's you used to have Richard Simmons and that thing, and they had the card thing, and he had an exercise program and a diet that went with it. There's keto, and there's paleo, and there's Atkins, all these different nutrition plans. And then on the exercise program, you've got the Beachbody, and then there's this new one. It was, remember Insanity? Insanity was one that was like an hour every day, and it would just kill you. And then they decided to make that a 25-minute, and so now it's like a 25-minute Insanity. And so what I want you to get tonight is how important it is to move our bodies, how important it is to get good oxygen. And we're going to do a couple breathing exercises too. So exercise is not just about being fit or being strong or anything like that. Really, it's about getting circulation in your body and also having oxygen to be able to process all the stuff that you're going through. Life is motion. Physical inactivity leads to metabolic dysfunction, which leads to metabolic disorders. This comes from an article called "Waging War on Physical Inactivity Using Modern Molecular Ammunition Against the Ancient Enemy." That was a really, really, really good article in Journal of Applied Physiology. We're going to go through a couple Mythbusters tonight. Number 1 myth is exercise heals the body. Ultimately, it doesn't heal the body. It helps to get circulation. It helps you to be healthy, but it's not the ultimate healing part. It's a part of being healthy. The truth is that fitness does not equal health. Exercise alone doesn't make you healthy, but it is a part of being healthy. Here at Victory, of course, we do chiropractic. Chiropractic does a couple things as far as exercise goes. Number 1, it helps to move the bones so you're not pulling muscles and stretching muscles out. It helps to start weight loss, and I would say that most people in here, before they start the diet, they lose 3 or 4 pounds just from getting adjusted. We know that the foundation of health is ultimately your brain and your nervous system, and that's the main thing that we do here. It doesn't matter how hard I work because I have bad genes and because parents were sick, then I will be sick. I think that this is a hopeless way to look at life. I know there's a lot of people that think that they can't exercise, or they just don't want to exercise, or that the conventional wisdom just says that genetics are who you are, and you're going to end up being like your mom or being like your dad. But you do have an option, and that's called epigenetics. The study of genetics is called epigenetics, or the way that the genetics express themselves. The truth is that genetics play a very small role in outcomes. Your lifestyle over and over again is the biggest determining factor. So heart disease, cancer, other diseases are primarily lifestyle induced. You can reverse your risk of having those problems by making lifestyle improvements. Just a couple questions. Do you put, and answer these on your own, do you put thought into shopping and planning for your meals? Have you ever said that's too expensive to eat healthy, but you still get Starbucks or fast food? Have you ever said, I don't have time to exercise, but still watch hours of TV at night? Have you ever thought about helping your body eliminate toxins, but don't know exactly how to do that? Do you want to make your health a priority as long as it's not too inconvenient? And so a lot of people say that, hey, how are you doing? And so a lot of people say nutrition's important. It is, and we teach a lot of nutrition in here. One of the other things that your body requires is exercise, and it's essential for genetics. Human beings have a genetic requirement for a certain level of daily physical exertion in order to express homeostasis or health. Physical inactivity is an abnormal event for the genome, with their genetics, that are programmed to expect physical activity. You guys get that? Is that our bodies expect that we need to be moving, right? And so, but when we're not moving, it gets confused and it starts to store fat on our body. It starts to do a lot of things as if we're in hibernation. And so just getting out there shouldn't be an abnormal event. It should be a normal event that happens. Physical inactivity should be abnormal. Exercise encourages normal gene expression. Inactivity flips the genetic switch to dysfunction and disease. And this is just a simple truth. Early humans had to run for food and survival. They had to work the fields to maintain the crops. They didn't have machines to do it for them. They were doing it. They were exercising out there. They weren't just physically, going on runs. They were actually getting activity, but we don't do that today. And so obviously you can't outrun your fork, right? And so don't sabotage your hard work. We're going to talk about what kind of foods that you should eat after a workout, and then we're going to give you a challenge tonight. So did you guys get that? Did you get the challenge? You should have that. Yep, okay. So first things first, you've got a Connect card. We'll show you how to sign up for that here in a second. You've got this Nutrition 101. That's the next workshop that we're doing here. We've got a community dinner coming up on August 17th. And then this is your 30-day challenge right there. Cool. We'll talk about how to get those exercises in on a easier basis. If you can't do push-ups, or you can't do a push-up, or you can do like 4 push-ups, then there are other ways to do push-ups. So eating healthy fat, of course, to burn fat, you have to have good fat to burn fat. It allows for proper cellular detoxification through the cellular membrane. So here's what that means is that you've got 74 trillion cells. They're all requiring something, which is nutrition. We eat nutrition. We eat something, whether it's a piece of celery or a carrot today, or it's McDonald's today. In order for that cell to absorb that nutrients and do something with it and provide energy for your body, that cell has to have good fat and be made out of good fat. Well, if we don't have a good fat, what happens is that the nutrients want to get into that cell, but they can't get in. But the junk that's on the inside of that cell can't get out, and this is called cellular congestion. And what we're looking for through exercise is what's called cellular respiration. And so just as we breathe in and we breathe out toxins, we breathe in nutrients, which is oxygen, we breathe out toxins, CO2, our cells do that too. They absorb good things and they exhale bad things. And that's all dependent on what kind of fats that you're consuming and what kind of fats that you're eating. Your fats also help you to absorb your whey protein and your vitamins after you get done with your workout. I need to be in the fat burning zone as long as possible to lose weight. In the late 1980s, there were 2 major reports that came out identifying dietary fat as the single most important change that we needed to make in order to improve diet and health. The reasons for that message were that some fat was saturated and some was not. The idea was to reduce saturated fat, but the assumption was that it was too complicated to explain it all, and that if people just reduced their fat content, the fat content of their diet, that they would be improving it. And the food industry now substitutes vegetable fats for animal fats in a profound way. All these other things, right? And same thing for exercise is that we were taught that you have to have a certain amount of exercise for a certain amount of time to get that done. And does anybody remember what that was? It was 40 to 60 minutes of hardcore fat burning every single day. And when I first got into nutrition and first got into weight loss, I heard a guy say from the stage that I was at a seminar, he said, have you ever just seen the lady that's running on the treadmill for 60 minutes every day, every time you go to the gym? She's on the treadmill, but she never loses weight. It's been a year you've been going to that gym, and she's been going to that gym probably longer than that, and she hasn't lost the weight. And that's because maybe she was at her level of cardio that she was supposed to, but she wasn't able to lose the fat the way that she was supposed to. Maybe she wasn't eating the right nutrients, but also maybe she was doing the wrong kind of exercise. And so we're going to exercise a little bit tonight. A study published in the current edition of Missouri Medicine found that 50 men who had ran at least one marathon a year for 25 years had higher levels of coronary artery plaque than a control group of sedentary men. The British Medical Journal study published this year, 2020, compared the carotid arteries of 42 Boston Marathon qualifiers with their much less active spouses. And here's what the article said. We hypothesized that the runners would have a more favorable atherosclerotic risk profile, but as it turned out, the hypothesis was wrong, and the marathoners had much more atherosclerosis than their spouses. There's an urban legend: in order to burn fat, you need to spend at least 40 to 60 minutes in your fat burning zone, and it's not true. It's 12 minutes every other day is exactly what you need, is what our research as Maximized Living doctors has decided. How you utilize your fuel in your body depends on how you exercise. If you want to think about it, the marathoner, he exercises for hours on end. He trains his body to become efficient at fat burning while exercising. Therefore, his body wants to store fat and burn sugar while resting so that it's available during exercise. In addition, running hours and hours actually trains your body and that guy's body to become as light as possible, so his muscles begin to atrophy. And what do you think happens to his metabolism? Have you ever seen this? Is that the sprinters, like if you go back to the 2016 Olympics and you see these sprinters, those guys are always ripped, huge, muscular, fast twitch muscles. When you see a marathoner, what do you think of a marathoner? Maybe skinny?
Greyhound.
Skinny, Korean?
Greyhound.
Okay, Greyhound. So I thought you said Korean. And so what I met a guy about 4 years ago, his marathoner, he'd done the Disney Marathon and all that other stuff. Well, what I noticed about him is he had like a little beer belly. And the reason that he had a beer belly is because his body has been trained to do that. His body, after you run for hours and hours, it starts to chew up your muscle and you start to get thin. And so those rails, those thin people that are running the marathon, that may be good, but the evidence shows that they have plaquing in their arteries. And do you know why that is? Because after you run for a certain amount of time, depending on how much your body can handle, you start to get inflamed and you start to develop inflammation inside of your body. Regardless of if you're exercising all the time, or you're a super athlete, or you're a marathoner, or whatever it is that if you still have inflammation in your body, you still got heart disease. And most people, after they exercise for over an hour, they start to develop inflammation. In fact, most people, after they exercise for 30 minutes, they start to develop inflammation because they raise their stress level, their cortisol level. So you want to keep your exercise on a daily basis if you're going to do it, or every other day, under how many minutes? Under 30 minutes. Don't go exercising for an hour, or you might start breaking down your muscle. The truth is that it's not important what you burn during your exercise. It's what you burn after your exercise. This is the same thing what we were talking about a few minutes ago. Bad fats and good fats. If you're consuming good fats, then you're going to use those good fats for fat burning. If you're consuming bad fats, you're probably going to have a hard time losing fat because your body gets congested once again. So what fats are we talking about? Vegetable oils, canola oils. You really got to avoid those. If you're cooking really high heat olive oil, then you're going to be turning it rancid. We want regular butter, not margarine. We want the good God fats, not plastic man-made fats. This is the classic cardio, what you would see, and what we're talking about tonight is really fat burning. This is your after burn. This is called excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. This is what your body, when you run for an hour or you do your basic cardio, what happens is that you have this long time of metabolism, but as soon as you're done, your body goes, wait, I've really got to slow this down and rest and shut everything down because I'm getting chased by a tiger. I've got to heal myself, so I've got to bring it back to normal as soon as possible. And then one on the other side, that's called afterburn conditioning, or 12 minutes of hard exercise and then resting afterwards. You can see that the oxygen level requirement was way higher before, but the tail off is a lot slower on the back end. Now, in order for you to get inflammation out of your body, you need oxygen. We've done a lot of research in breathing lately, and me and him were talking about this before. You know what's not usually what you don't hear a lot of on the radio or on TV is the stuff that doesn't make a lot of money. And we've been studying breathing for a long time. I've got a couple books back there. Tonight we're going to actually work on a little bit of breathing. When you're breathing normal, you ever notice this? Like everybody, even when you're stressed, that somebody says, hey, take a deep breath, man. Just take a breath. Just chill out. Or you say, man, I've really got to take a deep breath. Or when you get done from a hard day and you sit on the couch and you go, there's something healing and relaxing about that. But that's also a place that we should be more than we're not. As in America, we're bombarded with all this stress and all this other stuff. You know what happens? We start to hyperventilate. Now we're not taking deep breaths. We're not feeding our body full of oxygen that it's supposed to. And then ultimately, we're aging faster when you do that. They're called antioxidants. You know that? If you don't breathe enough, then you start to get wrinkles way too soon. Your body starts to break down way too soon. You see these little spots that people have on their arms. They call them blood spots or liver spots, but those are also oxygen spots. That's a lack of oxygen for that person. So everybody sit up good and tall. We're going to practice this. And we're going to do this a couple times. And you're going to kind of get out of breath. Maybe. I don't know if you will or not. But we're going to breathe out 6 times and we're going to breathe in 6 times. And so we're going to go, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're going to exhale the rest of that air. And then you're going to go suck in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on that 6th one, you're going to really try to bring it in, okay? So you just breathe out 6 times, in 6 times. We're going to do that 3 times and try to relax as you do this. Try to let your shoulders just go and relax. And good. All right, so we're going to take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath. As you breathe out, you're going to breathe out 6 times. Breathe in 6 times. And out 6. And just settle with that. You feel anything after that? What do you feel? A little dizzy. This is good. No, that's good. Out of breath. Relaxed. You're
ready to go to sleep.
About to sleep on me. Good. And so that's something that you actually want to stop and do consistently do throughout the day. Not just like once a day, not just in a 30-minute session of meditation or whatever, but throughout the day, because the moment that we wake up to the moment that we go to bed, we have constant stress, and sympathetic nervous system is trying to get in there and hyperventilate us into getting into that stress breathing. And a couple times a day, we want to settle down, do those 6 breaths in, 6 breaths out, and really relax. But also what that does is it helps you to change your metabolism. Your body is dependent on fat burning and oxygen in order to burn fat and to have a good metabolism. If we're exercising, then that's great. You see plenty of people, they exercise and they eat McDonald's every single day and they lose weight. And you see other people, she'll eat really well, but she never exercises, but she loses weight. But at some point, those people always get what? They get stuck. And they got stuck at 30 pounds or 40 pounds or whatever it was. And we always have to tell that person over the last decade or so in here, it's time to start eating better. And the person that's been eating really good, it's time to start exercising. And so just depending on where you're at or where you feel like you are, if your nutrition's good, then this is one of those things that you really got to start getting on. Max T3, this is the exercise program that we teach here in the office. It's based on time, tempo, and type. Anabolic hormones, meaning that it helps to burn fat and build muscle. Catabolic hormones are what builds fat and wastes muscle. Catabolic hormones is what you start to produce after 15 to 30 minutes of exercise, the catabolic hormones. The anabolic hormones are the ones that we want to stay, and you stop producing them at about 30 minutes of exercise anyway. So there's really, as far as like your cardio in, we really shouldn't be doing more than 30 minutes. The new understanding of fitness targets your energy systems, and I really haven't seen another workout program like this except for another one. But there's one more. It's called Burn something. Burst Fit is what it's called. So you have Burst Fit and then you have Max T3, and those are really the 12 to 20 minute exercise programs that I would recommend you doing. High intensity exercise is best, optimizing hormones, fat burning, and muscle burning. It also helps to regulate your blood sugar levels. It helps to increase lung capacity and improve your heart health and your heart strength. If time drops, intensity has to increase. So if you're going to exercise less, You have to work more. So some of us that are working out, an hour a day or whatever, it's time to really drop that and increase your intensity. No significant change in body fat is found in groups that exercise at a lower intensity of 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. Do you know what your maximum heart rate is? How to do that? 220 minus your age. That's where you want to get your heart rate up to. No significant difference in workload existed between the groups that have been studied. So a couple simple ways to monitor your heart rate and breathing rate. Number one, you can get a strap or you can get a watch that will measure that. I would say this is that if you can talk while you're working out, then you are not working out hard enough. If you can talk while you're working out, then you're just on a stroll, okay? Professor Ian McDonald, professor of metabolic physiology at the School of Biomedical Sciences, says that contraction of muscles caused by exercise metabolizes fat stores, but only in vigorous aerobic sports that trigger enough energy to turn fat into fuel. Deep breathing alone will burn up fat by 2% at best. So deep breathing burns fat. But what we're talking about is exercise. So everybody sit up good and tall. We're gonna do a little workout, okay? And we're not gonna make you sweat too much, but I would say this, is that sweating may be gross, but sweating is good, okay? So, and drop your stuff. You can drop your stuff. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do 15 seconds, real hard though, okay? As fast as you can. Not going through the motions. Like I really wanna wake up tomorrow a little sore, okay? So I'm really gonna do this as fast as I can for 15 seconds. Ready? Go. If you want to stand up, you can do it. Fast as you can. You're going to feel a moment where you like slow down and then try to go faster again, okay? And time. And we're going to take a 20-second break, okay? And then we're going to do that again. And then we're going to take a 20-second break and then we're going to do it again. And you've done 1 out of your 3 sessions of exercise for the day, okay? Because all together what this will take, this is going to take, it's 15 to 20 seconds on. It's 20 seconds off, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. The third set, and then you take a 2-minute break, and you take 2 of those. So all day you take a 4-minute break. Ready? You go. 15 seconds. If you can't do your arms, do your hands. If you can't do your hands, do your fingers. Good. And stop. Good. So you should notice just a little bit. You should be breathing just a little bit different. Your heart rate should be increased just a hair, just a little bit. It may be a lot, maybe a little. But that's where you want to be. And we're taking a break to get our hormones engaged, okay? And we're going to go here in another 5 seconds, okay? And we're going to do 1 more set. You can do punches or you can do curls. There you go. Good. Keep going. 5 seconds. Keep going. Good. Take your time. You can stand up, walk around if you want to. So, what if you did that? Is that easy? Dude, it's not that easy. But is it easier than packing up your car? You got to get on your workout outfit. You got to go to the gym. You got to do the stuff at the gym. You got to wear your mask at the gym. You got to get home. You got to take a shower, all the other stuff, and you got to get ready for work. Or 15, 20 minutes before you go to work, or sometime during the day or at the end of the day. I'll do this with my kids tonight. We do this on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And so, are we super fit? No, this is one of those things that I really struggle with. And so we all struggle with a little bit of something. Some of us struggle with read labels. Others of us struggle with nutrition. This is the general Knoxville, Tennessee. This is the bump in the road, is exercise. And I don't know what it is. But this is one of those things that you can change and that you can teach people around you to change too. If you can talk while you're working out, you're not working out hard enough. In biochemistry and metabolism, beta oxidation is the catabolic process by which fatty acid molecules are broken down. I'll say it again. In biochemistry and metabolism, beta oxidation is the catabolic. Catabolic means breaking down of. The catabolic process by which fatty acid molecules are broken down into the mitochondria and generate energy. Beta oxidation is what that's called. Sweating's gross, like I said. Sweating's not bad. The body eliminates toxins through the liver and the kidneys, and what it is not able to get rid of through the bowels, it gets rid of through where? The skin. That's right. And sometimes you'll see people that have rashes on their skin, or they have eczema or psoriasis. Those are also things that you got to realize that that's probably toxins coming out of that person's system. Would you agree that even if, regardless of sweating or anything else, if that person is very toxic, they have all kinds of chemicals in their body, they're going to pee it out, they're going to poop it out, but if it can't get out, where does it got to go? It's got to come out the skin. That's got to be one of the places it goes. And so sweating is a great, great thing. And if you're not sweating a couple times a week, highly encourage you to do that. Sweating is one of the only ways that the body releases heavy metals. This is one of those hardest things to get out of, especially when we're talking about autoimmune conditions, and we're talking about Crohn's disease, or we're talking about especially like multiple sclerosis and vertigo, those kind of things. Those are heavy metals a lot of times. If you have the metal fillings in your teeth and you have heavy metals in your body and you're not able to get that stuff out of you unless you're sweating. Urea, BPA, which is the chemical found in plastics, phthalates are even sweated out through the skin. Sweating improves blood flow, it reduces blood pressure, and improves cognition. A lot of people I know, though, they can't sweat. Why is that? Number one reason people can't sweat? Dehydration. Not drinking enough water in the first place. That's exactly right. Yep. You have to push yourself. If you're only working out for 12 minutes, 80% of your maximum heart rate. Hey, I want you guys to do that right now, and I'll do that for me as well. Your maximum heart rate, 220 minus your age. This is one of those classes that it requires less engagement, but I am going to ask everybody for some level of commitment. First thing was getting your heart rate. Okay. The next question for you and to answer and to write down is, I'm going to measure my heart rate via this device, this app, my fingers. You gotta do your heart rate just on the clock. You just count the 15 seconds on here, or the 30 seconds, or the whole minute. You just count your heart rate. You just count how many times your heart beats. If you're holding it for 15 seconds, you multiply that by 4, and that's your heart rate. You shouldn't be able to carry on a conversation, like I said. That's 15 minutes though, right? It's 15 minutes of really hard pushing. Don't avoid exercises that you don't like to do. That's number 3 tonight. The exercises that I avoid are, write one down. One exercise that I avoid and then beside the exercise that you avoid, you might have written down, I avoid all exercise. That's fine too. Put, why do you avoid that exercise? What is it? This is thinking, right? This is you with you right now. And this is the most fun that we ever have here, when it's you with you. Because you get to think, why are you avoiding that? Because it hurts? Because I can't? I think this is so important. That it hurts probably because you haven't been doing it, right? And so if I jumped into organic chemistry today, my head would hurt. It would physically hurt. But you know, that was my favorite class and my best class in college, by far, organic chemistry. It was the most intriguing stuff that I've ever been a part of. And if you put me in there today, I ain't doing that. Why? Because it hurts. Why does it hurt? Because it's been a long time. Does that make sense? And so write down your why. Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you doing an exercise? Don't sabotage yourself after exercise. Avoid foods high in sugar, high fat, moderate protein, low carb snacks. When are you going to exercise? That's your next commitment. You didn't know you were coming to get committed today, did you? So, avoidance and why. The best time for you to work out is when? The problem with working out in the morning, however, is because you're still going to want some carbohydrate to fuel your body throughout the day. So if you're gonna exercise in the morning, you can't sabotage that in the evening. A lot of people do that. We'll go home and eat lasagna or spaghetti at night or whatever, and so we really don't want to do that at all. However, if you're gonna do it, it's best to do that stuff in the morning, and it's really best to have good fats and proteins post-workout, okay? So no sugars, no, even fruit. Like people want to go get like handfuls of berries and handful of grapes after they work out, and that's still like a bad thing to do. We want to go heavy vegetables and meats, proteins, protein powders, those kind of things. You got to sweat, friends. You got to sweat. Helps pull toxins from your body that are released from fat cells. And your challenge today, we're going to go through all these. If you don't know what they are, then we'll go through them. The resources that we're recommending for people for this month, for the month of fitness, is MaxFit. MaxFit is full of adaptogens. It helps you to get the most out of your workouts. It helps you to recover after your workouts as well. We always promote protein and omegas, or protein and fats is really what we're doing, is to feed you with good food and not ruin your workout. This is called high intensity interval training, or HIIT, also known as burst or surge training. There are a lot of videos out there. When we're going to go through all these 30 days of this stuff. Can you believe that you're about to do this, dude? You're about to do this, and it's going to be awesome. So on day one, where it says 30 seconds of push-ups and 30 second squats with a 1 minute rest and 6 rounds of that, that's kind of what we were just talking about before, is that you go hard for a short time and then you take a break. If you are not taking your break in between that, like we at the gym, there's a room that we do this. It's like a circuit room, and there's like 10 machines, and you just go from machine to machine to machine. But the bell rings every minute, and so what happens is that the tendency is to go work out really hard for this minute. The bell rings and run over to this next thing and get started. But we have really trained ourselves to wait for that minute, then go do the workout. Because when I wait for that minute and I get that workout, I can blow through that. And I really build strength and can do that really well. By the time that I've gone for 20 minutes and no break at all, that 20th exercise, that technique on it is absolutely terrible. So you want to take your breaks, at least a 30-second or a minute break in between. But these are push-ups. So you can do push-ups different ways. You can do them on the floor. I have my wrists hurt sometimes, and so I do them on my knuckles. Sometimes if you want to do them like that, you can get against the wall, and you can just simply, some of us haven't worked out in like a long time, and so you can just like push back and forth. Others of us, you may just want to do this, and that's a push-up enough for you. And if you do that 30 seconds for pretty strong, and that may even wear you out. But you want to do that, you're going to do 30 seconds of push-ups and 30 seconds of squats. Now squats are typically just shoulder width apart, and you're just going to sit down. Now other people want to go all the way down. You can do whatever you want to do. What we're asking you to do is to do this till you're comfortable and not push yourself until you want to give up and not do it anymore. So even if you're doing just a little bit of a squat, I'll take that. You can do one-legged squats if you're strong enough to do that. And you can also switch up the squats. So this is six sections of exercise. It's six 30-second bumps of push-ups and 6 30 seconds of of squats. And so you can do your squats toes in. This works different muscles. When you do your toes in, it works the muscles on the outside. You can do toes out, and this will work on the muscles on the inside, and you can do normal like that too. As far as does everybody know what a plank is? Good plank. You know what a plank is? So a plank is you're down on your elbows. You can do this however you want to do it, but you're going to get your belly off of the floor, and you're going to try to be as stiff as possible. Okay. Got the planks, got the squats, got the push-ups. I think that's it. Questions, concerns? It's really, this has been done by about 6 or 7 clinics already and getting some pretty cool results down in Texas. So, there's your challenge. Here's your action steps. If you have any questions or you guys want to come to dinner, then you go to VictoryWorkshops.com. That's how you get signed up for stuff. Questions, concerns about this? We have a whole exercise program. This is the only time that I've ever taught this class, and it wasn't a full-blown workout, but that's what we wanted to do. Questions, concerns about anything? Every other day. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever it is. Slowly work yourself up to a 4th day if you're not working out at all. We don't want you to work out every day, period. And so you need to take 2 days off or at least 1 day off. That's just biblical, right? Prefer you to take 2 days off though. Once you start after you start doing this, and if you do the challenge or you don't do the challenge, here's what's going to happen. You're going to do those curls for 15 seconds and you're going to take your 20-second break. And you're going to do them again, and about a month from now, if you keep on doing that, that 15 seconds you're going to get to do your workout, and you're going to go, oh, that's pretty easy. So you add 5 seconds to each workout, or you add 10 seconds to each workout. So now I'm curling for 40 seconds.
Do you add weight maybe?
You can add weight, but we really don't want you to. We want you to do body weight. I mean, this is about speed, and weights to slow you down. So once you get to 6 months from now, 4 months from now, and you're getting done with the workout, and all of them were like you're doing. So, and this is the flow. It's 4 sets. It's 3 to 4 sets of this. It's 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 20 seconds on. I've worked out for a minute. I take a minute to a 2-minute break, and I do that 3 to 4 more times, and that's it. And that's really all I want you to do. That's it. Girls, fast as you can. The next day, do something else. You can do one-handed lifts like this if you want to. You can do lifts like this. You can do the push-ups against the wall. Or you can do the air push-ups or whatever it is. But we want you breathing heavy and going as fast as you can, and not going never more than 30 minutes. Never, ever more than 30 minutes. So 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 20 seconds on. Once you get done with that, a month from now, and you're like, oh, dude, that workout was easy. 30 seconds on, 20 seconds off. 30 seconds on, 20 seconds off. You can do a 15-second break. That's the slowest, that's the least amount of break that we want you to do though. 15-second break. So 30-second, 40-second burst with a 15-second break. That will get you going. Questions, concerns? This ain't Arnold lifting weights or nothing like that. It's just getting it done. It's just getting it done.
So you want us to do 3 to 4 sets of the curls like you described?
Yeah,
or is that every other day?
That will be every other day. You need a rest day, at least initially.
And
yes, ma'am.
this is every day?
You're going to do either or.
Oh, okay.
You're going to do, if you want to add curls and stuff to it, you can do that, but the challenge is not that. The challenge is just that. Okay. If you want to add the curls to it, you're still not going over 30 minutes, so make sure that you know how long it took you to do your planks.
But this is every day?
Every day, yep. It's 30-day challenge, yep. You good? Questions, concerns? Let's pray us out.